Hello, welcome to a cold and windy day in Pennsylvania. My name is Harry Zeiler, and this is my submission for forum number 1 for Dr. Carey's History 701 course. The topic that I decided to research was the origins of the Second Amendment. And I actually believed that there would be quite a few sources, and that I'd have a problem narrowing my topic down to something that might be a conceivable dissertation. However, I found that there's actually a paucity of sources that explain the origins of the Second Amendment. I found numerous sources, and most of them are legal briefs. Most of them were theses for masters or doctorates in law school, and there were no historical records. Even books that have been written, the secondary sources on this topic, tend to the legal. I think it might be interesting to do something along the lines of an intellectual history of the idea for a country like the United States to be the only country in the world where there are no restrictions to a citizen's right to bear arms. The only country ever in the history of humanity to do that, and it's well in debate today, and so I think it might be an interesting topic. So I look forward to seeing what you think. The three sources that I posted, and I found others, but these are the three that I thought most closely related to my topic. The first one was by a man named Charles Asbury, and he writes in his doctoral dissertation, "The Right to Keep and Bear Arms in America, the Origins and Application of the Second Amendment to the Constitution." He wrote that in 1974. I couldn't find anything more recent. And he wrote it in the University of Michigan, and he does a good job. I like his writing style. It's somewhat informal, but he does a good job. And he has many chapters, but he goes into the history of firearms and before that the history of arms, but not so much in the intellectual history of why people have the right to self-preservation or the right to liberty. He never gets into that. He complains of the same things I do, even though he did it 74. It's 40 plus years ago, and there is no he doesn't conclude anything. He just talks about the summary of the legal ramifications of the Second Amendment. He doesn't actually get into the background of why we have it in the first place. So that was his piece. We also have a few others, such as Jeffrey Campbell's The Original Intent of the Second Amendment, What Debates at the Constitutional Convention and the First Congress Say About the Right to Bear Arms. And this goes into the legal. This was actually for Oklahoma State University, and it was for a law degree. And even though he does get into Madison and what he thought of a right to bear arms, he eventually concludes that it was basically the various states, colonies, and then states at the Constitutional Convention that posed this as an amendment, and the Founding Fathers decided to just go and take care of that as well. It was just a legal ramification, no intellectual history, no background. It was just something that people wanted. And I found that a little bit lacking then, at least not what I was interested in. And then finally, a journal article, Originalism in the Digital Age, an Inquiry into the Right to Bear Arms by Nathan Kozakanich. And he writes in the Early Republic in the winter of 2009 about again, legal ramifications. He does. It was printed University of Pennsylvania Press, and so he does talk about some originalist ideas. But again, it flows to the legal. It's just, what does the law say? And I'm interested in what the intellectual background, what was the historical background to lead up to a law that is only found in the United States. I just think that might be something interesting to cover, and actually I'm excited about it now. So thank you very much for listening to my post, and I look forward to your comments. Thank you very much, and have a good day.